So it's time for dinner, so I'm going to get some leftovers out to start the meal off with. I've got some corn that was left over from when we had tacos. I've got some vegetable broth and a can of green beans. Now I'm going to get some better than bouillon. I've got the vegetarian flavor. And then I'm going to get a bag of frozen mixed vegetables. They're going to make up the bulk of this meal. In my Instant Pot, I have some red potatoes that I peeled and cut up. I've got 1 onion. And there's our ingredients except for spices. So with my potatoes that I did for 10 minutes in my Instant Pot, I'm going to take my immersion blender and blend them smooth. I left some of the potato water in it to keep them moist. And I'm just going to add some seasoning to them. I'm going to get some salt. Probably about a teaspoon. And then I'm going to grind some black pepper on top. And I'll give them another mix before I set them aside. Next, I'm going to take my bag of mixed vegetables that are frozen and pop them into the microwave. And for my microwave, it takes about 5 minutes to cook the whole bag. Then we're going to take 1 yellow onion, cut it in half. We're going to use 1 half and save the other half for something later. Chop it up. And we're going to put it into the Dutch oven. I'm going to turn my heat on medium-high. I'm going to add the onions to the pot. I don't use any oil when I cook, so we'll be adding a little bit of the better than bouillon broth, about a teaspoon. And then we'll add a splash of water, probably 2 to 3 tablespoons. I'm going to give those a stir as they start to heat up. And I'm going to add some spices. We have some onion powder, somewhere between 1/2 to a teaspoon. I'm going to give it more flavor. Then some garlic powder. I tend to use these spices in almost everything I cook. And then we'll add some thyme leaves. It'll give it some more good flavor. We're just going to let those simmer a while until the onion is translucent. Give them a good stir. The vegetables have cooked in the microwave, so they are all the way done. You can see the steam rising off of them. I'm going to add the leftover corn from the fridge. It's going to heat up. Don't want to let any food go to waste if I can help it. I turn my heat down just a little bit to medium. We're going to add the fresh, canned, cut green beans. Give it a good stir. Let all those veggies heat up together. And then we're going to add the vegetable broth. I'm going to add it just to the top of the vegetables so they're all nice and covered, and you can see it's got some extra liquid in there to help us when we want to make it into the gravy. Now we're just going to put the lid on the Dutch oven and let them come to a boil. While the vegetables cook, we're going to make a thickening agent. You're going to get a cup-sized container, preferably one with a lid that will be very tight. You're going to add about 1/3 to 1/2 cup of flour. And then you're going to add some seasonings. We'll add just a little bit of salt, probably a half a teaspoon. And then we'll give a good shake of onion powder, and then another good shake of garlic powder. Like I told you, I use these seasonings a lot. And then we're going to add some ground black pepper. Spice it however you like. Then I'm going to take some unsweetened soy milk. You can use any unsweetened plant milk. I just happen to have soy on hand. And you're going to fill it almost to the top. In this 1 cup container, I would say I have it up to the 3/4 amount. And then you're going to shake, shake, shake it. I have this sped up really fast, but I did shake it quite a lot. You want to try to get all the lumps out and get it just to a thick, creamy slurry. Then you're going to take your lid off. Your vegetables should be boiling. You can see that these are boiling. And we're going to stir them up a bit and get ready to add the mixture you just made. So using a whisk and pouring it slowly in, you're going to stir constantly. As you pour it slowly in, you can see it's kind of thick. And as it stirs in, you will notice that the broth is becoming thicker and thicker. It'll be kind of like a white sauce. So you're going to turn the heat down also as it gets thick. You don't want it to boil for too much longer than that. So it's a very nice consistency. I turned the heat off, and here you can see how it has thickened up nicely. Then we're going to take a casserole dish, and I like to spray mine with cooking spray so it doesn't stick to the sides. And I'm just going to pour it all into the container. It should be close to the top of the container. Then we're going to take those mashed potatoes that we made previously and distribute them over the top of the casserole dish. Just spreading them as evenly as you can all over the top. I left a little area around the edges because it's going to boil a little bit as you're cooking it, and it just gives it a little space to do that. So I just spread it nearly to the edges. Then I'm going to take a pan and line it with some aluminum foil because there's a chance that it could bubble up over the edge a little bit, and I really don't want to have a mess in the bottom of my oven, so this prevents that from happening. Just line whatever pan you have with some foil and put your casserole on top. And meanwhile, the oven has been preheating. I set it to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're just going to get the casserole in and push it in on one of the middle racks. And we're going to set our timer to 15 minutes. And then we'll check it to see it's bubbling around the edges, and that means that it's done. Hey guys, I'm really sweaty. You can tell I just got off the treadmill and I've thrown together dinner. You watched me put it together. I had put the potatoes into my Instant Pot before I got onto the treadmill. I had about 5 red potatoes that I had peeled and put in there for 6 minutes and just let them hold while I was finishing exercising. And then you saw me get the things out of my fridge and put together this meal. I put it together in about 10 minutes, I think it took, and it's in the oven now for 15. Well, I can go and take a shower, and then we will have some shepherd's pie. This is really kind of my recipe that I make for veggie pot pie, and usually put a pie crust or some biscuits or things like that on top, but I didn't have that on hand, and I did have the potatoes, and so I think it's going to be delicious just like that. So we'll see when it gets out of the oven what it tastes like. Meanwhile, I'm going to go get cleaned up. See you in a bit. Okay, I feel a lot better after taking that shower. Got my hair all nice and washed, ready for dinner. The pot pie came out of the oven, and I think it's actually more of a veggie pot pie as opposed to a shepherd's pie. When I think of shepherd's pie, I think of tomatoes, peas, mushrooms, celery, and onions, kind of a brown gravy with the mashed potatoes on top. And this really is more like what I think of as a veggie pot pie, or when we used to eat meat, it would be like a chicken pot pie with chunks of chicken in it. So, you can call it what you want. Let me know what you think. Is shepherd's pie, does it just mean there's mashed potatoes on top? I'm not sure. We're gonna enjoy it no matter what it's called. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment below if you've tried it and let me know what you think. I hope you have a great day and we'll see you next time.